Hello and good afternoon. Happy fall to all of you. Thank you for tuning in and spending some time with me today. We made it to Friday. What a week it's been. It's been jam-packed with stuff. And talking to people, it's just everybody's kind of spinning and a lot of stuff going on. So I'm going to try to unpack some things that have transpired this week. You are now listening to The Financial Chick Show, and I am the Financial Chick. My name is Denise. I'm the CEO and owner of Diversified Financial Solutions, a full-service independent financial planning firm located in Medford. Your Financial Chick is here to help you make better financial decisions and choices to improve your life and reduce your anxiety and stress about money. If you want to know more about me or my firm, you can check out my website at financialchickshow.com. We are also on Facebook and Instagram at Diversified Financial Solutions, so like our pages to get updates and see what is happening. If you missed a show or want to re-listen to the show at any time, you can always go to the media tab on my website and listen to all prior shows, and topics are listed for your convenience. So if there's something you want to know a little bit more about that I've done a show on, you can definitely check it out. So this week has been a week of volatility and change. And now I'm not only talking about the market, but in the world overall. So on Thursday, yesterday, September 22nd, we entered the autumn equinox at 9:04 p.m. last night. This signaled the start of fall in the northern hemisphere and incidentally the start of spring in the southern hemisphere. Maybe I should go to the southern hemisphere, just kidding. So that means summer is officially over now. And boy, did it end abruptly. And going back to that, I do love fall. It's just what comes after fall, just I'm not too thrilled about. But speaking of what comes after, how cold was it this morning? That was pretty shocking. There's a meme going around. Now I have to kind of alter it a little bit because it has some words that I can't really say on the radio. But the meme said something like this: Summer did not even say goodbye. She packed her stuff and just left. And that's pretty much what happened. We may still have some good weather, into November, but it just was very coincidental, I guess, that right after, or the first day of fall, it just really got so cold very, very quickly. So they say that, the fall equinox is time. It's a good time to reevaluate and release what's not serving you. It may be a good thing to do this weekend. Just kind of check it out, refresh and rejuvenate things that you're looking at. The world has been volatile, and I'm sure we all have things we can, take a look at, maybe adjust, and possibly even change. And a lot of that could be from a financial standpoint after what we happened today. But I wanted to first start off with some insane news that has come out this week, just to show how, just volatile everything is. And even everybody I talk to on the phone, everybody's just out of their mind and crazy and stressed, and I just think we all need to take a big, deep breath and just exhale. But the one thing, right here in Suffolk County, if you haven't been aware, Suffolk County computers have been hacked, and they've been offline since September 8th. So what does that mean? Well, that means that things like 911 calls, cops writing tickets, all of this stuff is being done manually right now. And the most scary part of this situation is that they don't know really how to fix the situation. It's been going on for several weeks, and I don't know how much progress that they've had, but they're certainly not back online. So this has delayed a lot of things, and it's countywide, which is quite frightening. So anything that you need, just general doing business anywhere has always been challenging lately because of lack of staff and everything. But now not having the access to computer systems in our county, it's a pretty frightening thing. So that was the one weird thing that happened this week. Then there was this TikTok challenge. Now, I don't know if he's listening, but my engineer, Anthony, he asked me what I was talking about today, so I wanted to talk about this. And he told me it's an older one. Is that right, Anthony? I guess I'm just not as cool as possible. Like, I'm not on TikTok all the time. He just gave me the hard thing that I'm cool. But, it just hit the news this week, and it was on TV and whatnot. And so here it is. The TikTok challenge is that we are being warned right now that it is not a good idea to cook chicken with NyQuil. I had to check this out because I really thought I was being punked. But literally, this is something that I don't know. I'm going to say kids. I'm going to say people. I don't really know where it originated from. But what I want to know is why anyone thought this would be a good idea to marry chicken with NyQuil. So, in case you're interested, just don't do that. It's not a good plan. A lot of people are ending up in the hospital, and there's just no good outcomes for that. I have no more words for that. Moving on. Okay, this is a very interesting story that came out this week. I just had to tell my staff when I read this. Okay, so as we know, trading, or maybe you don't know, but I will tell you, trading on insider information like stock tips and whatnot is illegal. Can't do that. That is, unless a person is a member of Congress, right? So a New York Times article had indicated that they found 97 lawmakers or their family members bought or sold financial assets over the 3-year span in industries that could be affected by their legislative committee work. Problem, right? So there's all these lawsuits going on and everything, but this is an issue. I mean, if I did this, I would lose my career, my everything. But lawmakers are doing this. So what's very interesting is that they had this thing, as the saying goes, if you can't beat them, join them. You're not even going to believe this one. So just this week, there are 2 new ETFs, or exchange traded funds, that aim to track lawmaker stock purchases. So you too can participate in what has been unlawful to us regular law-abiding people. Could you even imagine that this is really something that is happening? But it gets better. You ready? So all of these stocks or ETFs, they have what's called ticker symbols, which identify what they are. So the symbols for these said ETFs, and this is not to say to buy these, this is just information. I mean, if you want to, it's on you. But, okay, so the first ticker is NANC, okay? And that is to represent Speaker Nancy Pelosi, the Democrat side, and the things that were purchased on the Democrat side. But to be fair and balanced, of course, there is the KRUZ, which is Ted Cruz of Texas, that references the senator, the GOP senator, so the Republican side and what they're doing. So I just found this to be absolutely, I don't know if amazing, absurd, just craziness, but I again, no words. I would love to hear if you guys have any ideas or thoughts. Please, email me, go to my website, give me some ideas. I just sometimes my mind is blown just about things that are going on. All right, so next on the world of insanity is, did you know that in the state of New York, you now must be 21 years old to buy canned whipped cream? Now let that roll around your head. I had somebody from outer state make a comment. We had it up on our Facebook page, and they had question marks. So, and I'm sure you all have question marks if you haven't heard about it already. I'm not going to tell you why it is, but it's just interesting that there's so many other things that children can do under the age of 21, or young adults can do under the age of 21. But one of those in New York is not being able to buy whipped cream. Okay. So that's just an interesting type of thing. So this week we're going to kind of switch into, a little bit before the break, but we're going to switch into some other craziness, and one of which is Joe Biden said that the pandemic is over. I don't know if you heard that, but that was kind of a big thing. Now, of course, the public advocates are not on board, however. It must be close to the midterm elections with him saying something like that. And believe it or not, we are close. We are 46 days away from the midterm elections. This is a super important election. We really see that the one-party rule has not been working so well at this time. I mean, there's a lot of things that are an issue at the moment, and we need some balance. It's always good whether you side with one side or the other. It's just never a good idea to have control all on one side. We need to have different opinions, even with us, with people. And that's why I love talking to my clients, because we have those conversations. So we're going to talk a little bit more about some stuff that's going on in this crazy week, and the markets, and all the wild things that are happening into this almost last quarter of the year. So this is the financial chick, Denise Nostrom, the company Diversified Financial Solutions. I help you look for solutions when you feel like there are none. And stay tuned after the break for more.
Good job. We got 2 minutes.
What's that?
Good job. We got 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. All right, 2 minutes.
Seconds.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
And you could have chimed in before.
I
could have.
could've?
Yeah, you could jump in anytime. By all means.
Just cue me in. I don't want to overstep.
What's that?
I don't want to overstep. So cue me
No,
in.
you're fine. You're fine.
All right. You have 30 seconds.
Okay, thank you. That's a long. Welcome back. This is Denise Snowstrom, the Financial Chick. My company is in Medford, and you can reach me at 631-758-8691 or visit my website at financialchickshow.com. I'm here to help you on your financial journey. Over the years, things change, and I'm here to help you navigate all those changes. So today I'm just talking about the craziness of the world. If you were listening in the first half, we talked about not being able to have whipped cream or buy whipped cream under the age of 21 in New York. We've talked about just a bunch of different things that have been going on, not to combine chicken and NyQuil. So we're going to kind of shift into more of a financial, mode at this point. But sometimes just there's things that just blow my mind. And people ask me, like, how do you have material for your show? And I'm like, how could you not have material for the show? There's just so many things to talk about. I always feel like I have so many things that and I don't have enough time. But anyway, so again, I'm here at the airport, and it's super windy. When I came in, the wind just kind of blew me into the studio today. We're in fall, and before I left, we talked about how Joe Biden said that the pandemic is over, but a lot of the public advocates are not really on board with that. I'm sitting here at the airport, and a lot of people are still wearing their masks. Not everyone, but I see some people coming and going with masks. So it's still kind of a mixed bag, and obviously a lot of mixed messages. But this week, what had happened on the financial front is that the Fed raised interest rates again by 75 basis points, bringing the Fed funds target rate to 3.25%. So what does that mean to you as an investor or as a consumer? Well, the problem is that borrowing is going to cost more now. So whether you're looking to take a personal loan or a car loan or a mortgage or those credit cards, the first couple of things we talked about, if you're going to get these items, it's certainly going to be a lot more. Let's just even look at the mortgage. I mean, a year ago you could get a mortgage about 2.5%, maybe 3%. They're exceeding 6% now. Mortgages. We have the housing prices are coming down a little bit at this point. I suspect that to escalate over time. But we're still at a place that you really have to be careful and really run your numbers and make sure you're not getting into something that is not going to be a pleasurable thing. You want a house, a home, and be happy. So you don't want to get into something that's going to be over your head. But the credit cards. Now I know things are super expensive. That's one of the reasons why the Fed is raising rates, because they want to tamp down inflation, and I'll talk about that in a second. But people are using their credit cards for daily things, and it's okay if we can pay those credit cards off when we get the bill, but in many cases we don't have the resources to do that. And when that is on the table, you're holding those balances. credit card rates are going up. The banks can have carte blanche right now to do basically what they want. And I've seen just with my credit cards, and we're going to do a show all about credit cards in the near future, but 27%, 29%. I mean, that's insane. That's super crazy. I mean, I'll have clients, like if they want to get into a mutual fund and if they choose an upfront commissionable type of mutual fund and maybe it's 5% or 5.75%, they're like, oh my God, that's so much. But then they have credit cards that are paying out 29%. And look at it from another way. You have your money in the bank, and maybe, I'm just being generous now, let's just say you're getting 1%. They really haven't caught up yet, but 1%, and you're paying out 29.99%, you're losing 28.99% safely every year. So it's a bit of a situation. So pay off those credit cards if you can, and I know it's really, really difficult, but do what you can do. So Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve Chairman, is now trying to play catch up. A year ago, he as well as the president and a whole bunch of them had said that inflation was not a problem and wouldn't be a problem, and that it was transitory. So they were wrong, completely wrong. But how could they not know? You know, if you're in the industry and you know what's going on, the federal government, I just looked up some numbers as far as the pandemic, they paid out $850 billion of direct payments to taxpayers. The first round with the CARES Act, $1,200 per adult, $500 per child. Second round, $600 for adults and children. The Consolidated Appropriations Act, they called it. Third round, the American Rescue Plan, $1,400 per adult and $1,400 per child. So this is all great. We felt great. It was warm and fuzzy, like, wow, this is good. And, you know, we're getting all this money and everything. But you had to know somewhere down the line that this was going to have to be paid back. And you said, oh, well, they're not going to raise my taxes, which of course is what they said. But now having to pay all this extra money for products and services, that's your taxes. I mean, it's just crazy. So, you know, when you push out stimulus into the economy, you know, this is what the outcome is. So, you know, now the administration still wants to pay out student loan debt. And again, that's more money going out into the economy that is just going to escalate even further the situations that we have going on. And not to mention the fact that, you know, it's still in oil. I know we want to do this electric vehicle, and I don't think any of us want to really not save the planet. I mean, that's an important thing. But, you know, you have to have a plan, just like you do in your personal lives. You have to have a plan of attack. You can't just say, I'm just going to retire and see what happens. You got to plot it out. You know, even when we plot out a plan to travel, you know, you have plans. It just seems like this knee-jerk stuff is just not working so good. So I've been equating it to, you know, if I've talked to this week as clients or, you know, other people that I've talked to. Sorry, the story is the same, but I've been telling people that the government, the Fed, they're like teenagers having a party at their house while the parents are away on vacation or out that night. You know, they get the word that the parents are coming home, and now they scramble to clean up. So this is what the Fed trying to fix up their screw up. You know, the problem here is that the low to middle income earners are the ones that are going to get hurt the most. You know, Powell, he came out and he just said this is going to be painful, and he's going to raise rates 2 more times to, quote, make things better. You know, but they're not addressing one of the situations, like I just said a minute ago, with the gas and oil. Today, the price of oil, or the barrel of oil, did go down. We were down to $80, just to kind of give that a number. We were up at a high of 116. So, you know, you're seeing stuff coming down at the fuel pumps, and that's going to definitely help. But is it long term? You know, it was very interesting. I got a call about 2 weeks ago from one of the mutual fund companies, or one of the fund companies that I work with, and you know, they always give me different suggestions of, you know, to help my clients, what's a good thing to purchase, what they expect to do well. And one of the things they said was energy. So no one expected that oil would come down like this. So I'm going to suspect that it's probably not going to stay down, you know, for long. And that's going to further escalate, you know, the things that are going on. So, I mean, you know, a lot of this stuff could have been prevented. You know, it basically was about, you know, about planning and about policies. And when this new administration came in, their planning and policies just really weren't on the mark. You know, I think their goal was just to change everything that they could change from the last administration. But to their chagrin, the unintended consequences were not so good. So the market was down for a second week in a row, and the Dow is now trading below 30,000. But I will tell you, do not, at this point, make any changes right now. It's not a good time. The quarter's ending next Friday, and unless we have a miraculous recovery next week, the statements are going to look terrible. but there's no direction. Everything is down. If you're a Bitcoiner or a cryptocurrency, that's getting decimated. It's just all bad. So don't panic, stay pat, and don't make any changes at this point. That's my best advice at this point. But take a look at your statements, meet with me. I'm going to give you a quick story. I had hurt myself at the end of July. I pulled my hamstring, and it's been pretty painful. It's been crazy. And of course, I thought it really wasn't about thinking I could fix it myself, but really just not having the time to take care of myself and do things. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. But so I looked and I figured exercises to kind of help the hamstring and all of that kind of stuff. And then finally I had to give in, and I did. And I finally went to physical therapy. And it was the best thing that I could have done. Actually, the past week, just things that they've done for me has helped me so much. And so, shout out to Professional Care Physical Therapy in East Patchogue. They're just great. They have a really great organization there. But the reason I tell you the story is that call me. When you think, we all think we can do this stuff ourselves, and I fall victim as well. I just gave you my confessional, so to speak. But the thing is that there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's not just about the investments. It's really a lot of the planning, and we can see by just doing one thing, what the government's doing is not helping the situation. So come to me to help you look at your entire situation, give you different strategies. There's so much that I can tell you that's so hard to say in a half-hour radio show, but give a call to the office. Let's get together, complimentary consultation, and let's see. It's a tough time. We're going to get through it, but be in the know, and you really will have a better outcome than not knowing. And one thing we want to do also is anybody that has any ideas of how to save money, let's try to take a look at that. But we'll talk a little bit about that next week. But you're listening to the Financial Chick Show, and I am Denise Nostrom, and I want to wish you all a very happy weekend and enjoy. See you next Friday.